Good evening, I am Alex Tremaine and I am an old man that builds Gundam, and today we are finally returning to the Master Grade Full Armour Unicorn, which we have been studiously ignoring for the last couple of weeks to finish building the Master Grade RX-0 to free up one of my two build slots so that I can start building some variety of perfect grade unicorn offline. When last we saw the unicorn, it was in possession of 2 arms and 1 leg, and a foot, and a kneecap, and that was it. The only thing that has been done in the meantime is that a little bit of panel lining has been carried out on the head, because I had some spare time when I couldn't be doing anything else. So, or rather, I had a short period of spare time where I didn't have time to get everything out to actually do proper building, but I did have some time to just get the panel lining pen out and do a bit of lining. So we have the head panel lined and the torso panel lined, and I will continue attempting to do some panel lining in the background on this one. So we left off having completed the right leg, and today we dig straight into the left leg, I guess. For anybody who's not joined us on this stream before, I'm Alex Tremaine. I build Gundam. I very occasionally play video games on the stream. That's only happened once, but it will happen more in the future. I'm just going to put this out of the way for the moment. We will keep the foot and kneecap available to us. Where was I? I build Gundam. I play video games. I tend to ramble on about old cars and wrestling, and occasionally video games. I stream Thursday evenings, UK time. That'll be this slot 7ish till 10ish, and I stream Saturday evenings again 7ish till 11ish. I think that probably covers all the business, I guess. Time to get straight into the left leg build. So we need K15, K10, 11, 12, 15, 18. Okay. 10, 11, 12, 15 and 18. So 10. Shiripopu, thank you for the host. That's very kind of you. 10. I hope you're doing well this evening. I'm assuming that you're watching wrestling. 11. I finally caught up on some wrestling over the bank holiday weekend. I hope everybody's had a lovely week, by the way. It is, for me, today has been the Thursday that walks like a Wednesday, in that I have, being in the UK, Monday was a bank holiday, so this is only day 3 of work for me, and tomorrow is Friday and a short day, so that's something to look forward to as well. But over the weekend over the bank holiday, I finally sat down and did some catching up on Stardom. So, my professional wrestling quotient for the weekend was very high. We watched 3 shows on 3 Road 2, as it were, shows on Friday evening, and then on Monday morning, Monday late morning, when we woke up on the bank holiday and didn't have to go to work, we finally got around to watching the 3rd of March show from the biggest show Stardom has ever put on. 3rd of March from Nippon Budokan. 3,300 and something in attendance, if memory serves. And it was a hell of a thing. There was some... I'm going to get a fresh blade for this. If I can remember where I put the fresh blades. There they are. Yeah, a hell of a show. Just incredible. It's right up there with some of the best, not just Stardom shows, but just some of the best wrestling shows I've seen ever, full stop. It was astonishingly good. There were some occasional low points, but they were extremely minimal. Yeah, the show started out with a high-speed title match, which is always a good way to start a show. It was incredibly rapid, as all good high-speed title matches should be. Yeah, really solid start to the show, really enjoyable match. Come on, why are you not? There we go. So yeah, there was a pre-show which as I say started out with a high-speed title match and then had the Goddess of Stardom tag titles on the line, which is the standard tag belts for Stardom. Let's put that out of the way. Which was nothing out of the ordinary. It was a pretty serviceable match. It was a decent enough title match, you know. Nothing special, but still pretty solid. And then we're straight into the main show with a Rumble match, which was mostly good. There were a whole bunch of old Joshi legends who showed up, and it was excellent. There was also some less good stuff, which thankfully didn't last long, but did put a bit of a damper on it. I think when I rewatch this show, I may well skip that match, or at least skip through some sections of it. It was worth seeing once, but I don't think I've got any sort of burning desire to see it again. That, however, was followed up by, he says, digging into his memory, what was the... think that was followed by one of the two promotion versus promotion matches. Momo Watanabe representing Stardom versus Nene Takahashi versus, representing Seedling, which again was an excellent if brutal match. It was a very stiffly delivered match. They were firm with their engagement of each other, which looked both awful and fantastic at the same time. So that was good. I've forgotten how soft the plastic is on these parts. What was that followed by? After that, we had the SWA Championship match, the Stardom World Alliance, being defended by Syuri against the challenger Konami, which was a pretty technical based match. It was all sort of a lot of, after the previous match that had been sort of 90% strikes and big flashy moves, this was almost exclusively, or at least for a large chunk of it was mat work and chain wrestling. And it made for a nice sort of different pace. For that match, which was nice. That was followed up by the second promotion versus promotion match, Mayu Iwatani versus Yoshiko from Seedling, and that was also quite a brutal, strike heavy and big flashy move heavy match, but it was very, very good. Then there was the red belt title match, the World of Stardom Championship title match, the challenger Saya Kamitani challenging her tag team partner, the current champion Utami Hayashishita, and that wasn't. I was expecting that to be a good match. It was unexpectedly excellent. Just, yeah. And then the main event was the Wonder of Stardom Championship match, the white belt. The challenger Tam Nakano versus the champion Julia in a hair versus hair match. A loser shaves their head. And that too was, I mean, that was the best match of the night. They saved it till last, for a good reason. It was just outstanding. So yeah, gonna have to rewatch that fairly soon, the whole thing, with the exception of the Rumble maybe, or bits of the Rumble. I think that was all the matches. I feel like I missed one after the Rumble, but maybe not. can't be bothered to check now. Yeah, it was just an excellent show. Really enjoyed it, and that means I am now only, what was that, 3rd of March, that show, so I am now only 2 months behind, 2.5 months behind, which is something like 15, 16 shows. So if I can watch a few over the weekend, that'll be good, you know. Do a bit of catch up. For the rest of the weekend and the week since, well, it was Humble Monthly Bundle time. Humble Choice, whatever they're calling it these days. I still think of it as the Humble Monthly Bundle. And there was some interesting stuff on that. Picked up Simulacra and Simulacra 2, which are sort of detective-y based kind of horror-ish games. I finished Simulacra. It was short but quite good. Working on Simulacra 2. Also picked up AI the Somnium Files, which I believe is from the same people who did the Nonary games, the Zero Escape games, and I have now finished that, blasted through that in sort of 20 hours or so. That was excellent. I mean, it was, there were a handful of Oh Japan moments, but broadly speaking, it was just really, really good. A nice little sci-fi detective story, which is very much my jam. Right, so this gets clipped into here, like so, and then this goes in here, like so. This clips on here, and then this completes the knee joint. There we go. B6 and K17. B6, which is this. Don't mind me, just throwing the sprues around. B6 and K17. Just there. Right. So yeah, a nice weekend followed by a pleasant week. Also picked up something else I picked up video game wise as well. I can't remember what it was. Persona 4 Golden, that was it. I for the third time of asking, have paid money for Persona 4. Picked it up for the PC. I have previously picked it up for both the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation Vita. In one form or another. Yeah, at some point soon I will have to give that another run through. It's been a while since I played Persona 4, and while it's pretty good. It's aged a bit. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a PS2 game. I haven't seen what the PC version of Golden is like in game yet. How it if they've done any improvements sort of looks wise, or if it's just literally a PC port of the Vita version, which, you know, I wouldn't blame them if that's all they've done. The Vita version was already a pretty good improvement on the PS2 version. Basically got as far as loading the game up to make sure it works, but I haven't actually started playing it yet, because I know if I start playing it, then that's me done for some period of time. And I got a whole bunch of games I've not played before as part of over the weekend, so I want to go through those a little bit before going in for a replay of anything. So, we'll do it this way round, and then this goes on here like so, and this matter which way around that is. It just goes in there like that. B14 and G11. Now what, I am just going to take off a bunch of these parts because we're going to need them all. I can't really be bothered going back for them. Just need that. Need these. Going to need that. And we're going to need this. Not much left on there. So that's B. Then we're going to need a bunch of stuff off sprue G. Sprue G. So we are going to need this. And this. This. We might clean out a sprue or two here this evening. Maybe. Certainly going to get close. Looks like there might be some last little bits remaining in places. Right, this is part of the leg. These are part of the leg. That's everything we're taking off sprue G for the moment. And sprue F, we will need everything that's left on sprue F. Everything on here is part of the leg. Snippety snip. Yep, that's a dead sprue. What else do we need? We are going to need Y2, which is this one. And we're going to need Y2 and K6. Which is that one? Right, I think that's broadly speaking everything. I probably missed something, but it will come to me when I get there. So, B14 and G11, which is this part. So yeah, I don't know what I was expecting from AI Somnium files, but what I got was a tale of parallel worlds and body hopping, which, you know, is always fun. I won't say any more, but in case anybody ever wants to play it. I probably said more than I should have done if anybody ever wants to play it, so pretend you didn't hear that, I guess. But play it you should. It's pretty good. It's a good angle to get at this on. There it is. So yeah, other than that, it's been pretty quiet, as I say. I've been largely subsumed in various video games and finishing off the Bresel, which if you haven't seen, then go and have a look at last stream. I finally finished it, did the transformation process, and it looks sweet in both mobile suit and transformed mode. Very pleased with it. Panda Plays, it is going pretty well. Finally back on the full armor unicorn after the diversion to finish off the master grade Razzle, which was hell of a kit. If you can ever lay your hands on one, I strongly recommend giving it a try. Yeah, watched a bunch of wrestling over the weekend. Today we are back on to the Master Grade Full Armour Unicorn, which is what I was building before I got distracted by the Razzle. So today is building the left leg. So this goes up, this slots in, and then that goes back down. So yeah, we've gotten quite a way along with the unicorn before the distraction. Well, you see, that's why the distraction started. Because a couple of months ago, or a couple of paydays ago, month and a half I guess, I tried to get myself a perfect grade unicorn. Only I haven't been able to find anywhere in the UK to get one. And when I tried to get one I found from the US, the cost of postage was like nearly £100, which was very frustrating, but I had been able to find a perfect grade Banshee Norn and the lighting unit at a place in the UK, so I picked that up. And then less than a week after I picked up the Banshee Norn, perfect grade Banshee Norn, and the lighting unit for it, they restocked the perfect grade unicorns. I grumbled a bit, but you know, it's fine. Banshee Norn's still pretty fucking cool. I was going to get the perfect grade Banshee Norn at some point. So it wasn't a disaster. But my wonderful wife, without my knowledge, then ordered the perfect grade unicorn for me, which arrived a few days later. And since then, I picked up a lighting unit for it on the most recent payday. So I now have 3 perfect grade kits in my backlog. The Unicorn, the Banshee Norn, both which I have lighting kits for, and the perfect grade Strike Freedom, which is what I'm going to be building on stream after I finish this build. But that meant the Razzle that I'd just started building off stream, I needed to finish. I hadn't just started building it. I'd been building it for a while. And it was a case of, well, the Razzle now needs finishing, so that I can start building the one of the perfect grade unicorns off stream. And I thought the Razzle was a little closer to finished than it was. Turns out there's a lot to build in that Razzle. So the last sort of couple of weeks worth of streams I've just been sort of building the Razzle and building it a bit off stream as well. And I've got to be honest, that kit is really fun to build. And the results are astounding. It just looks so cool. But it means that as of last weekend, the Razzle is finished, and that means I can dig into a perfect grade unicorn of some variety. I haven't decided which one I'm going to. One of them I'm going to build off stream, and then once I've done the Strike Freedom build on stream, I will build the other one with the lighting unit on stream as well. Yeah, they're not cheap. As I say, I'd been fortunate. I'd had a reasonably frugal month the month before, so I'd been able to grab one. But yeah, I can't afford to buy perfect grades every month. It's not a viable strategy. But if I can find more master grades of the quality of the Resil, then that would be nice. Yeah, I mean prices, I don't know how much of that cost is getting it into Canada. I mean, what we're finding here in the UK is that sort of since with the Brexit bullshit and various other things, it's actually cheaper for us to import. It's actually cheaper for me to buy direct from Japan, and have stuff imported from Japan than it is to get stuff imported from the States, which is a bit weird. Yeah, I've heard good things about HobbyLink Japan. I've not yet put myself in a position where I need to, where I've had to. I thought I was going to have to get a unicorn from Japan, but I didn't in the end. I am looking for, at some point I do want to pick up the real grade perfectibility unicorn with the blue psycho frame. But that's a Gundam based special edition, so that's going to have to come from Japan one way or another. Yeah, shipping is just, I mean the pandemic has screwed shipping, and then here in the UK we've been screwed by Brexit as well. So we've got this sort of double hit on the shipping front. Very frustrating. Right, so that clips together like so, and then goes on there like that. And then this goes on top of it. What are you building at the moment, Panda? I'm not familiar with the Musha. This is where my Gundam ignorance shows up. I have watched very little Gundam. It is on the list of many things to do, is to actually remedy that deficiency. At the moment I'm largely picking my models by whatever looks fucking cool. Samurai Gundam seems pretty cool. That seems like a no-brainer of a concept. Ah, 3D printing. I've got a friend who's got a resin 3D printer. He's been using it to make a whole bunch of miniatures for wargaming and tabletop role-playing games. I'd like to try some 3D printing at some point, but I already have enough expensive hobbies at the moment, so don't need to add another one to the list right now. I realise it's not super expensive once you're set up, but it's still quite a substantial setup fee for something decent. Oh, I'm not surprised there's a community for Gunpla parts. You know, being able to replace something that got bust, or that came off the sprue poorly, or the like, that would be incredibly valuable to people. And I know that there's a hell of a modification community for Gundam as well. Which can no doubt make use of such things. Cool. Are you actually making the 3D model file yourself, or are you getting them from elsewhere? I've looked at 3D modeling in the past, and it looks like an incredibly rewarding but skill-intensive art. There we go. Starting to look like a leg. Yeah, I had a poke through. I had a look at the basics of Blender at one point for 3D modeling, and it's slightly less intimidating than I expected it to be, but exactly if not more deep as I expected it to be. Sort of how much there is to learn. So yeah, I haven't had the time to really dig into it, and realistically I've given the time investment that would be needed to get to anywhere near the point of it being a useful skill. I don't have the time to really put in to get there. I have not painted any kits. I have been toying with getting an airbrush at some point. But I'm sort of kind of frustrating that because I have an air compressor. Unfortunately, it's an air compressor for automotive repair tools, so it's actually too powerful for it's actually too powerful for doing sort of hobby painting with. You can, but it's I mean, the one I've got is, I mean, it's fairly small for I mean, if I spent a bit of money on a better regulator, I could probably do it, but at that point it's like, well, it might actually just be cheaper to get an air compressor that's the correct sort of size and design for the purpose, rather than trying to repurpose something that's designed for, you know, impact drivers. Certainly the regulator it comes with doesn't go down low enough because it's designed to power impact drivers and the like, and you know, the kind of things that cut through metal and car body parts. So right, there we go, there's the upper leg with its transformation. But also I don't have anywhere sort of in the house that I could do painting, so it's a case of I've got the garage, but the garage is kind of cold, or has been kind of cold until very recently. But yeah, I would like to do sort of some airbrush work and get and try properly painting one of these. I'm not sure what I'd start with painting wise. I think it might actually be one of these master grade unicorn kits that I built, either this one or the master grade Banshee. Would make a good base for experimenting with. A lot of flat planes, nice clean surfaces to work with. Yeah, I'm not messing around with trying to paint any of the perfect grades until I'm actually sort of gotten to grips with how to paint less expensive models without ruining them. But yes, I know where you're coming from there. There's a lot of nice contrast on the stroke freedom that could be made use of painting wise. The most I've done is sort of panel lining, as far as detailing goes, I guess. very much looking forward to seeing how the Resil comes out with some panel lining going. Hi Peachy, how you doing? Finally, having finished the Resil, we are back on the Unicorn. Yeah, that really is coming out kind of teal on the camera, isn't it? It's much more straightforward green in person. There we go, that's one. It's wet and dry paper. So yes is the answer, but that's because the wet and dry paper is designed to work that way. So I have this is just finishing paper on a lollipop stick, just sandpaper effectively. But these are wet and dry, which is on. This is a brass rule that I cut in half lengthways, so that it's something nice and flat that won't rust. But yeah, I wouldn't do it with normal sandpaper. But there is that, yes. It is significantly. It does get significantly less dust anywhere. But I've also just found it's. I've also just found that the wet and dry gives a better result in the end. So I just stick. I have some really good. I have some really good double-sided sticky tape, and I just stick the wet and dry to the brass rule. And I have sheets and sheets of wet and dry because it's not very expensive. I have not built anything outside of Gundam for a long time, Panda. When I was a young boy, I did a lot of modelling. Mostly radio control modelling. So I built a couple of radio control car kits. I built a radio control plane when I was in my teens. Yeah, absolutely. Always enjoyed it, but radio controlled aircraft are a lot more regulated now, and they were already pretty heavily regulated back then. For sort of, I mean, not talking the sort of cheapy drones that you can buy in a model shop these days, but the kind of thing that has the kind of aircraft that have, you know, petrol engines in them, which was what I built. I had a 0.4 cubic inch glow fuel powered engine in the aeroplane I had, which was enough to nearly chop my finger off when I got my finger in the way of the propeller. Had to go to hospital. Had 7 stitches in one joint of my finger. I don't know how. Hang on. So this U-shaped scar here was where the propellers are nylon. Thankfully the engine was idling, it wasn't up to speed, but the propellers are nylon, so they're quite sharp on the edge. And my hand, if you imagine the propellers coming like this, thankfully my hand didn't go into it like this, it went in like this, hit just sort of on the knuckle here, so it was only idling, but it hit the joint, so it didn't just take the finger off out the joint. And as I say, it just this little U-shaped scar here, you just sort of peeled back. Went to the hospital, 7 stitches in one joint of the finger. That was all fun and games. Do not recommend. One of the guys at the airfield, who was a regular, was like, we all do that twice before we learn. And I'm sat there bleeding and just sort of hyperventilating, going, no, once is more than enough. Swear I can learn after just once. Certainly didn't do it again in the time that I had the thing, which wasn't much longer after that, unfortunately. But yeah, it's you got to be careful of those things. They mean business. Nephilim, how are you doing? You having a good evening? Yeah, I'm doing alright. It's been a 4-day week. Tomorrow's Friday. Looking forward to the weekend. And I'm building Gundam. Everything is pretty good at the moment, to be honest. So which way round are we here? This needs to be this way round. So this goes in like so. And this goes in like so. So that this can slide up and down. Right. Yeah, 4-day week is a definite bonus. Today has been the Wednesday that walks like or rather the Thursday that walks like a Wednesday. It has felt like Wednesday all day, and it has been Thursday, and that is the best kind of Wednesday, really. Best kind of Thursday, I guess. It's both. Yeah, the bank holidays in the UK are really all clumped together. And depending on when Easter is, it can get really clumped together. I think Easter was pretty late this year, which runs the Easter bank holiday into May, or very close to May. I don't know if it's as late as it can get this year, but it was pretty late. Yeah. The lack of anything from August until Christmas is a real hard stretch. I mean, we do then get a bunch at Christmas, but even so. Well, a couple. Three, I guess. Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Day. But then Easter's almost feels like it's almost straight after Christmas at that point as well, so. Right, M1. It's going to throw sprues everywhere, don't mind me. And hit the mic stand in the process. That's just sort of half of the course, really. So I'm looking forward to a weekend of computer games, and obviously there will be a Gunpla stream on Saturday evening as per normal, which will be continuing with this build, yeah, as I say, I've got a bunch of games that I picked up last weekend in the Steam sale to dig into. Plus I want to do some more wrestling catch-up. See if I can actually gain more ground, become closer to up to date. I don't think there's enough hours in the weekend that even if I spent the entirety of it watching wrestling, that I could actually catch up. But I can at least hopefully get a little bit closer. Which would be nice. There we go, that's coming out alright. So the rocket goes on there. And this Anybody else got anything exciting planned for the weekend? I think it's supposed to be... Then at least something nice, hopefully, if not necessarily exciting, Peachy. You've got a stream to do at least. So, how close are you to finishing the... how much is left of your little caravan that you're building? Everything goes into it seems exquisitely tiny, but I've sort of lost track of... sort of how much is left to do. It's not bad going. Have you decided what the next build will be? What's in your backlog? I should have to think what the light fixtures are going to be like. Are they just like all tiny pieces of wire that you've got to hang miniature lampshades on? Oh, excellent. I saw some of the progress on that. I wasn't around, unfortunately, but the yeah, but they're done in the best way. My wife built the RX-78 Gundam version, just the standard Gundam version of the Hello Kitty one, and that's both dumb and cool in the best way. It's what got her into building the super deformed Gundams. Right, so that's that bit built. What's next? We need K22. Where is Ver.Ka? Here it is. K22. Right, don't have to worry about these nub marks. They're all going to be hidden completely. So this goes on like Really? What, have they made some kind of giant version of it? I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. Not that that would be a bad thing. Some kind of 2 foot tall Hello Kitty Gundam would be super awesome. The one my wife built was, I think, just the sort of RX-78 version of the one you've got the Zaku for. Comes complete with an apple, which I think the Zaku does as well. If memory serves. Right, so this lives on here, like so, and then this clips on there, like so, and it becomes more and more like a leg. Next. I can't remember what it was on one of the Gunpla Reddits. I'm fairly certain, but I saw it may actually have just been r/Gunpla, but somebody had done a, I don't know if it was a conversion or if this was just a thing that got released, but somebody had done a Sailor Moon Gundam, like complete with the hairstyle and the ribbons and everything, and it was awesome. So this one goes on this side, like so. so. Something else I discovered over the weekend is that apparently there was an American live action adaptation of Death Note, which I had not heard about. I sort of came across a video about it on YouTube, as you do when you're just sort of on a YouTube walk. Looks unbelievably terrible. I've watched the Japanese live action adaptation of Death Note, which was excellent, really good. Certainly the first one was. The later films were less good. I think they did 3, and the first 2 films were pretty decent. But yeah, the American one looks awful. I did not know they'd done that, and there's probably a good reason why I did not know they'd done that. Apparently it was a Netflix adaptation. I can only assume that Netflix saw what they had created and decided to just bury it in their algorithm somewhere so that nobody ever saw it existed. Right, so here we go. This now pushes this translucent plastic out when one moves this cover down. Right, so that's all of that. And these two G21, which is this part. Apologies, Peachy, if you stuck a link in chat. I do have links turned off, I'm afraid. For some reason it doesn't tell me if links happen. At some point I will actually get to grips with the Twitch interface. And do something a little bit more interesting with OBS. the other knob mark? There it was. There we go. So this goes on here like so. There we go. And we are nearly getting to the end of this. Right. It's 8:45. I've been going for a little longer than I thought I had. So I am going to take us on a break so that we can cycle liquids and recharge glasses, etc. I shall be back in not a terribly long period of time at all. See you shortly. And welcome back, everyone. Right, so let's get back to it. I just finished this step, which means we are down here. So let's get the outer outer armour on. All of the nubs. Do a very good job there. Let's try this again. That's more like it. Right, so this clips on here like so. watch a bit more wrestling over the weekend. And I've games developers are kind of weird. Every now and again they just do weird shit. I've been a big fan of the, I mentioned before, I've been a big fan of the X Beyond the Frontier series. Remember the X Beyond the Frontier, and there has been X2 The Threat, X3, Terran Conflict, X3 Albion Prelude, and X4 Foundations, along with X Rebirth in the middle. And despite X3 now being 2 games old, they've just released free DLC for it, despite having only just released some DLC for X4. They're just like, here, if you've got X3, then you get this. So I've been sticking my head back in playing X3 recently, and over the last week, to see what this new update for a sort of 10-year-old game is like. It's alright, you know. It's still very much the same game with some extra bits and pieces on it. I mean, it's not really a patch on X4, but there's definitely some nostalgia value there for me. So I think there's going to be some time spent in that this weekend. Assuming my life just doesn't disappear into Persona 4. I mean, that's, you know, Persona 4 is not out of the realms of possibility for this weekend. To try and resist the temptation to just sink into that, but I'm not necessarily I make no promises, I think, is the answer, is what I'm getting at there. When it comes to Persona games, I make no promises. Right, there we go. So to this. Goes that. Yeah. Throw things away. Come on. Into the rubbish pile. Right. bit much. That's better. Right, how's this cleaned up? Yeah, it's alright. That's alright as well. Right, so that needs K21 in order to mount it. Which is this one. And thankfully, the knob marks are going to disappear inside here and not be visible at all. Which is always the best kind of knob mark. Ones you can't see. There we go. Right. That's more like it. Got a knee joint going on there. Once again, just throw things around. So that, and that, and where's the other knob mark? There it is on this edge. Right. This one. And this one. Very relaxing about building Gundams, or modelling kits just in general. I found the same back when I was building radio control model kits. Just able to just relax, follow some instructions, and end up with something that looks really fucking cool at the end of the process. Go. I find this whole process very relaxing. as I've gone on, the more I do this, and the more time I've started taking over doing a kit. Because the first, I mean, I've only really been doing this since Christmas, you know. Just after Christmas. Bought my first kit with various Christmas money. Ah, excellent, Panda. I'm glad I can be a bad influence on your back balance. I mean, a good influence on your kit building. Something like one of those. Something like that. This was the first. Ironically, this is the real grade full armor unicorn, or part of that kit. And that didn't take me very long to build at all. And as I've done more of these, I take my time more. I'm a little bit more. I've become a lot more. I've become a lot more picky about cleaning up nub marks and making sure all of the parts are nice and tidy before they fit. That first kit, I cleaned it up with a craft knife and that was it, you know. Didn't do any sanding at all. And then I moved on to just sort of sanding with finishing paper, and now I'm using wet and dry on everything. And the more kits I build, the longer it takes me to build them, because I've become more and more picky about the process. But it's also become more and more relaxing because I'm taking my time over it, and it's just an enjoyable pastime. The result is, I think that's what's nice about it. The result and the journey are both worthwhile with model kits of any type, really. There we go. Right, so now we need Ver.Ka again. K4. Which is this. And also this. I was very impatient with the first build with the real grade unicorn. I just really wanted to see it built, and you know, I took my time with cleaning it up cleaning up nub marks with the craft knife, but I was super keen on seeing the result. And if one were to, I mean, it looks good. I'm still pleased with the result, but I know that if I did it again, I'd get a better result than I did the first time round. I think part of it was I went from the real grade straight up. The second kit I built was a perfect grade. And it's like, well, you know, it's cost me a lot of money. The last thing I want to do is not do it justice by rushing it. And then the third kit I built was also a perfect grade, and I did an even better job on that one. I mean, that's just how it goes. The more you do something, the better you get at it. But I'm very much more pleased with the results I'm getting now than I was initially. It's just a matter of having a little sort of time and patience. But I also realise it kind of makes for a 90% sanding stream. But I think the results are worth it. Yeah, I had some. The hobby knife is so variable, I found, as to how good the results were. I just decided, you know what, it's an awful lot easier to control abrasive than it is to control than it is to control a knife. There we go. A little clip there. And the same on the other side. I still use the knife to sort of get things started in places. And I'll still use the knife just to take the worst off on areas that aren't going to be seen. But if it's going to be visible, I tend to can't sort of can't help myself anymore. So if you're going to get back into it, Panda, what kit are you going to get? Okay. I mean, I'm not going to criticise people's choice in kit, you know. If there's a third party kit that appeals to you, then go for your life. Enjoying the build is the important thing. Right, that's that done. So who makes the metal build kits? I'm aware that they exist, but I've never really looked into the metal builds. Dragon Momoko, okay. I shall have to investigate that at some point. Yeah, I've not found anywhere that sells the metal builds in the UK. I'd kind of like to try one at some point, but I imagine they're... kind of assume they're a little bit more expensive than the regular kits. Oh right. Are they just they're just paintable figures, or? Yeah, the build is a big part of it for me. As I say, I do want to get into painting at some point. Get an airbrush and the like, but it's always just been the putting stuff together that's been my jam. So I'd really like to find a way to stream from the garage, so I can do a stream some working on the car. It's not coming out terribly well. Let's try that again. Working on the car is just sort of kit building writ large in my experience. Right, so this goes this way around, like so. Particularly given that my current project is a trying to restore an old kit car. So it's like kit building without the instructions, writ large. Or certainly without all of the instructions at any rate. And in some cases without all the pieces. It's one of the Logitech keyboards. I can't remember exactly which model and number it is. It begins with G, but I can't remember which one. It's nice. Mechanical keys and aluminium case, chassis, body, but it's one of the ones you can just knock all the crap off it by turning it vertically. It doesn't have a, it's not, the keys are not sunk into the keyboard, which is good because I get a whole bunch of crap all over it half the time. Right, here we go. That is come on. There we go. That is a leg. And for anybody who hasn't seen it, the transformation is as follows. There we go. The inner green case showing, and also the foot goes into high heel mode, which is just too cool, really. There we go. So let's just close all of that back up into the normal mode. Right, what's next? Next is we fit that onto the body. There we go. And there is a complete unicorn, at least for the robot itself. So we still need to make the backpack, and then it is on to every weapon going. Because boy does this kit come with a lot of weapons and extra parts. Right, let's have a quick drink. So P8 and A22. Let's start with A22. We also need A23 and A24. A23. A24. And while we're here, we might as well grab A15, which we are going to need very shortly. There we go, that'll do for the moment. So what else do we need? P8. Is this sprue P? Yes it is. I think we're going to need absolutely everything off this sprue in fairly short order, so let's just get it all. Teeny tiny little pieces. And let's get rid of sprue P. And we need I4. Where is sprue I? I4 is over here. We're going to need a bunch of parts from Sprue Eye, but I think we've got enough detached stuff right now, so let's just grab that for the moment. So hopefully we can get this backpack finished this evening. That'll be a nice stopping point. Right, there we go, so that's that. This then sits in here. Let's tidy up this. something I did notice happen this week. This is probably only going to be relevant to those of you who are into odd 90s electronica, but the KLF released a remastered version of the White Room onto streaming platforms recently. They put out some new sort of best of type things, collections, but it's the first time the White Room has been available for quite some number of years. I have a CD copy of it knocking around the place, but it's nice just to be able to listen to it on Spotify. Big fan of the KLF. They were an odd bunch. And they certainly didn't make a lot of friends in the industry when they were around, but boy did they leave their mark. Right, we also need sprue M, because we need all of these tiny little rockets. We now need all of these tiny little rockets. Let's, because these are small parts, let's take these only as we need them so far. That's not going to be visible. This is going to be a little bit visible. The 90s was a good time for electronic music, particularly the early 90s. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't have any desire to be older than I am, but kind of wish I could have experienced 90s rave culture a little bit more fully than I was able to at the age I was at the time. Still love the music though. My ideal 90s playlist would be some unholy abomination of some random 90s, early 90s pop music, a whole bunch of 90s rave, and a whole bunch of 90s goth. Which, you know. Would frankly seem a little weird, I guess. But it is what it is. Right, so this then goes in here, like so. And we do the same on this side. Let's just put that on there for the moment. And fit that, and then let's put this rocket on. There we go. Right, now these tiny little things of incredible tininess. So there we go. Those have to sit in there like so. Then we swing these closed. Right, so this needs one, two, three, 4. find an angle to hold some of these pieces that doesn't have sharp pointy bits digging into my fingers. Normally annoying. Definitely getting there. I'm definitely going to need new emery paper after this evening's session. Some fresh wet and dry. I'll do for now. So, this goes this way up, clips onto here, this then folds down, this then needs clipping onto it. Go. So this then goes on here like so. And then this clips on. so, and that hinges. Right, so what's next? Next are these. Two gates per piece on these, which is convenient. I was talking to somebody on stream the other day. I can't remember who it was, but they were interested in computer role-playing games to play of the sort of Western RPG style, and we went through the obvious ones: your Baldur's Gates, your Planescape Torments, Titan Numenera, Dragon Age games, and what was the other obvious one? Divinity Original Sin games. It's occurred to me in times since that one of the things that didn't spring to mind at the time, and really should have done, the Shadowrun. Games. Shadowrun Returns and associated games. There we go. Right. Such as Shadowrun Dragonfall and Shadowrun Hong Kong. All excellent games that just didn't occur to me on that occasion. There's a good modding community for Shadowrun as well, for the Shadowrun games as well, creating other adventures using the Shadowrun system. It's an interesting setting. For a long while I wasn't tremendously a fan. I wasn't tremendously keen on having, I didn't really want magic and mystical beasts in my cyberpunk games, but obviously there's some problematic stuff about the race decisions in cyberpunk and the setting, but it is still a good game and an interesting setting, even including its foibles. Even including the poor choices made about racial coding within the game, within the setting. Problematic, to say the least. But I would still recommend Shadowrun Dragonfall and Hong Kong. They're both some pretty solid games. I always liked the system. You know, there's never anything wrong with the Shadowrun system. In fact, on a few occasions I ran just straight cyberpunk games, but using the Shadowrun system because it was a little bit more accessible to people than some other cyberpunk systems at the time. There we go. We are getting there. So, the last two little rocket boosters. That is the end of Sprue M. Sprue M is no more. Go. No. importantly, I think we're nearly there. I think these are the last round surfaces I've got to file. Which is good. Because these are a pain in the neck. Lots of tiny parts with sharp bits, or at least small surface area bits. My fingertips are going to hurt in the morning. There we go. Little rocket boosters. And then the very last part is 2 copies of G17, which I think are the last things on sprue G. They are indeed. Yes, that's a dead sprue, and we need sprue I. Here it is. So that one's I6. That one is I5. And then these are both So that goes that way. In there. And that sits in there like so. And we do the same for the other side. And then we'll be done for the evening. Session on Saturday, we'll be able to proceed on to the all the many and varied weapons that come with this kit. I think we've got like 6 beam gatlings, 3 shields, an enormous glowing speary halberd thing, beam rifle, some grenades, a rocket sled, you know, just a handful of weapons and accoutrements to go with it. 1 or 2. Oh, some bazookas. I think there's some bazooka type things. Rocket launchers. Something like that. I think they may in fact be referred to as hyper bazookas, if my memory isn't failing me, which, you know, it often does, so don't take my word on that one. Because just straight up bazookas would not be enough, not for a Gundam. They have to be hyper bazookas. can't just have a regular thing. When you could instead give it a superlative. So, I know it's been a bit of a quiet one this evening, but I hope everybody's enjoyed the stream. Thursdays are sometimes a bit of a weird night, but it's been good chatting with those of you who have been here. Doc Knock, welcome to the stream and thank you for the follow. Your timing is not the best, I'm afraid, as we're sort of coming to the end of today's session. But welcome anyway. I will be back on Saturday, sort of 7 o'clock in the evening UK time. You have, I'm afraid, missed the creation of a leg, the second leg of the full armour unicorn, and I'm just finishing off this backpack, and when the backpack is complete, we'll put it together and see how it all looks before calling it an evening. But welcome anyway. Are you a Gunpla builder yourself? Model kits in general, or what's your jam? There's a few of us about. Gunpla builders get everywhere, it seems. You can find me here Thursdays and Saturdays. Sort of those are my scheduled build streams. There will be occasional other streams here and there as free time and inclination dictates, but I'm around Thursday and Saturday evenings UK time. Current build is the full armour unicorn. Master grade full armour unicorn, that is. Previous builds are the real grade new with the heavy weapon system expansion for it. That's fair. Life is life. Everybody's got stuff to do. If you can make it along, it'll be lovely, but you know. And there we go. That is the backpack unit finished. So let's have a look at where we are. So this just slots into place and slips down, and then we have the sort of mobile suit portion of this build complete. Which is nice, which means Saturday, as I say, we will move on to the Excellent. Always good to find a fellow build streamer. What's your current build? What are you doing at the moment? Right, so what do we have to add to this? Well, here's all the extra bits and pieces that are coming. So we've got this funky rocket sled. We have the RG-0 2 and RG Mark II AUG. Ooh, nice. How are you finding those? I'm really quite fond of the real grade kits, just in general. I found them all to be, well, the ones I've built so far to be uniformly excellent. Hey Shizzy, how you doing? Is the are you all wrestled out? Have you successfully watched a wrestle? Yeah, Shitty gets about. Can't escape him. So I guess I should try transforming this. Yeah, it's not bad, Chizzy, thanks. I had a pretty good time this evening. It's been a bit quiet, but got through a reasonable amount of build. We now have a unicorn with both legs, which is one more leg than it had previously. And it also has a backpack, which means the mobile suit portion, 10 real grades so far. Oh, I've only done the 2. I've done the, as I say, I've done the, I have the real grade full armor unicorn, and I've done the real grade new, both of which I've really enjoyed. There we go. So there's some of the transformation. But getting through 10, that is not bad going, because they're not yeah, the only sort of weak points on this are the ankles aren't quite as firm as I'd like them to be. I think they're a little stiffer on this than they were on the oh, what's it called? On the Banshee. I did, but yeah, still not bad. So how does this to remind myself how these all transform. There we go. Oh yeah, enjoying. I saw that Dangerous Tech has got the or rather Tai Chi got Izuka's glove back, which is good. I always like seeing nice things happening to Dangerous Techers. Joshua Tar 11983, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. We've just got to the end of building the mobile suit part of the Master Grade Full Armour Unicorn this evening. We'll be moving on to the all of the extra bits that it comes with next stream, which will be Saturday. And just doing a bit of a run through of the destroy mode transformation on this before we finish for the night, because these unicorns always look really nice transformed. I caught up on, finally watched the big Stardom show from Nippon Budokan over the weekend. I have now seen the hair versus hair match. It was a thing to behold. I'm going to have to go back and watch it again at some point soon. Let's do ankles. Oh yeah, these unicorns are just absolutely daft with how many little little extra bits and pieces they have for the transformation. They're I think it's one of the things I like so much about them is just how much unnecessary effort they put into making the transformation part of it cool, you know. High heels. We haven't done. What's left on this? Oh yes. Go, because there's right. I think I've remembered all of the transformation parts there. And there you have destroy mode. Except we need to also need to do the backpack. Like so. There we go. It's I've got to say it's pretty damn cool. I really like the unicorns. There's just so much with them, and they look good in both forms as well, which is, you know, critical. So yeah, there we go. But I'm afraid that really is where I'm going to have to leave it for this evening. So we're going to put this. There's the ankles going. Put that over there. Put that behind me. And yeah, that's going to be it for this evening, I'm afraid. Thank you all for the company. I hope you have a fantastic Friday, and hopefully I'll see some of you on the weekend. As I say, 7 o'clock start UK time, Saturday evening. I shall be kicking off with what is the next part. We've got a lot of transformation instructions. We will be beam magnum, then hand grenades, then hyper bazookas. I was right, hyper bazookas. Then shields, more shields, hyper beam javelins, beam Gatling guns, and then the rocket sled. So we have plenty to keep us busy. I don't think we're going to be finishing this build on Saturday, but we've probably got another couple of sessions with this before we reach the end. But mobile suit is finished. So have a good evening all. Previous parts of this build are up on YouTube channel. It's not all of them at the moment. There's one part missing, but there will be. I will make an effort to upload those tomorrow and get everything up to date on the YouTube channel. Link to the YouTube channel is on the Twitch description, and I will see you all in the future. Have a great Friday.